everyone, Farmer Dean from Tangletown Gardens and Wiseacre Eatery here. Welcome to the 2020 CSA season. We're really excited to get started, and we know that you are too. So it's been a really great spring so far. Mother Nature has cooperated for the most part, and we've got more in the ground at this time than we have in many recent years. So we're going to try to do these videos weekly, or at least every other week, just to give you a little glimpse of what's happening at the farm. Today, unfortunately, I can't come to you from the field because we've got constant 35 and 40 mile an hour winds. So that brought us back in here to a little bit more shelter to stay out of the wind so you can actually hear what I'm saying. So welcome to all of you returning members, and we have so many new members this year that we're really excited about. So thank you for that. Thank you for supporting local food and us and our farmers, and we really appreciate that. So we're going to do our very best and work very hard to make sure that we give you the very best CSA experience possible. So if you have questions along the way this year, feel free to reach out. Andrew, our CSA coordinator, does a great job of getting back to people. He can always forward those questions to me. We really want to make this a connection between you and where your food comes from, and that involves us answering some of those questions. So, okay, a couple of housekeeping things that I want to talk about today. One is kind of what the procedures are going to be. Obviously, with COVID, food safety, all of those things, we're going to be extra careful and very mindful of that. So all of our staff will be wearing masks, will be washing, will be sanitizing. Many of those things we have already always done. Food safety is our utmost important of importance and concern, and we want to make sure that we do our very best. So we'll take a few extra steps this year in order to facilitate that. One of the things that we are going to change is many of you returning customers know that we typically have done a market style distribution where we set everything out, you go through the line and you grab your produce and put it in your bag and then be on your way. This year, in order to help create a more safe environment and maybe a little quicker transaction for when you come and pick up, we are going to pre-box everything at the farm this year. That means we will have, each week, your box will be labeled. We'll have small, medium, and large share boxes. They'll all be labeled, so make sure when you do come to pick up, you know which size you are required to grab. We'll be there to help during that distribution and each step of the way to make sure that you know how the system is going to kind of go and flow. So these boxes are waxed, coated, really wonderful boxes designed specifically to take the humidity of a cooler and keep vegetables in really good shape. So what we have, in order to maintain and basically reduce our waste and recycle as much as we can, we are going to have these boxes that will come with your food in it, but each of those boxes is going to be lined with this plastic liner. What that does, it allows us to reuse this box. If we were to hand you this box and if you were to take it home, we are then no longer able to take those back and reuse them for food safety reasons. And that is not our choice. That is part of the Food Safety Modernization Act, which we have to follow, and for good reason. We want to make sure that we can keep that produce clean and safe for everyone. So your bag will easily come out of the box, and what we will have are basically, you'll have a bag that we're going to give you during your first pickup, and that is a reusable bag. It's a beautiful bag. They're lined. They're really great, really heavy and durable, and that'll be something that you can use each week, and you'll want to bring with you each week, because then you can take this bag out. We're going to have stations set up where then you can transfer your produce from this box into your take-home bag and then and be on your way. A couple of other things to note. Many of you will see things like this. This is actually a cup. It's a 16-ounce cup that we use. We pack things like herbs. In this case, we've got beautiful little baby French breakfast radishes in them. These cups and the lid are compostable, so we'll want to make sure that you get these into a compost pile or facility, so that then they can go back into your garden or the soil somewhere along the way. The other thing that you'll see are these bags, and these bags are basically also compostable and biodegradable. So you'll want to make sure these get into the recycle bin as well. We try as best we can to minimize all of the packaging and waste. One, there's a cost associated with it, and two, we don't want to utilize any more packaging than we absolutely need to. However, in order to keep some things fresh and keep them from getting damaged during transport and your pickup, there are some things that just require that packaging. But know that we do try to keep that to a minimum. So again, we keep things out of our landfill and make sure that they're compostable. Okay, so what to expect through the season? For many of you, if you're returning members, you've done this before and you kind of understand the flow of the season. For those of you that are new, some of the things that I can kind of share with you as we begin the year, much of what you're going to see are those spring vegetables. You're going to see lots of greens, lots both hardy and types, lettuce and salad greens and those types of things. As we progress into summer and we start getting warmer days and those things like cucumbers and zucchinis and those types of things start becoming ready, then we see a transition. We go from a lighter box in the spring with lots of greens into slowly increasing weight and also a divergence of varieties. So it's really fun. You're going to see a lot of different things along the way. Like I said, we've got a lot of fun, unique things and also a lot of bread and butter things. We try to put a good mix of those types of things in there. One thing you'll want to do is make sure that have some friends and some neighbors that are ready to accept some maybe extras that you might have. Or if from time to time, if you're one of those people who just absolutely does not like beets, well, there will be beets in the shares at least a few times along the way. So look at those as opportunities to share with your friends and neighbors, or try something new. You might be surprised. A lot of us think about beets and we remember our childhood beets in school. And what I can tell you is the beets that would be in your share are very, very different and taste very, very different. So, and there's lots of great ways to make them. The other thing you're going to want to be kind of prepared to do is there are going to be weeks where you might get an abundance of things. It just really depends on what's coming out of the field. So for those of you that maybe haven't done it before or just want to try, you might want to experiment with some either different preservation techniques, whether that's making some quick pickles, canning, preserving, even dehydrating some of the herbs. There's lots of ways to take what you get in a given week and help spread that out for your use over a longer duration of time. So all of those are really great things to kind of be thinking about. What we really try hard to do is in each week and each share size, we try to put in usable quantities that make sense, but obviously everybody eats different, everybody cooks differently, so we do our best to try to make sure that we have a good, robust amount of diversity in there, as well as the quantities that are relatively I guess normal or typical of what maybe a certain share size might require. So we typically try to have between 6 and 8 different things in the small shares. We have between 8 and 10 in the medium shares, and between 10 and 12 in the large shares. Now that's kind of our standard. That doesn't mean there'll be times that there's more or less. Oftentimes as we get into spring, that starts growing and growing and growing, but we can only fit so much in the box. So we're going to do our best to make sure that these boxes are full and correspond with your share size. So again, it's going to be a really fun season. We're really excited. We've got a super team out at the farm that will do their very, very best to make sure that we get you everything as fresh. We harvest fresh, and we try to get things to you as best as we can. One of the things that I'll just give you a heads up on, that there may occasionally be a hitchhiker, especially those things in the cole crop family, those cabbages and kales and things like that. Obviously we don't use harsh chemicals out at our farm, so we're using things like insecticidal soap and neem oils, things that are lower toxicity and much safer, and obviously all organic. So there may be an occasional hitchhiker. If you have a cabbage looper larva in your box, take them outside, let them go, dispose of them however you'd like. Just look at that as a sign that we are organic and not using chemicals and pesticides. Conversely, you'll maybe see some things that there might be some things in the brassica family that the flea beetles love, and things like bok choy and things like arugula. Some of those things are just super super favorite foods for the flea beetles. And we could spray soap and soap and soap every day, and sometimes you just can't get them completely eradicated. So you may have arugula with a few spots on it, or some bok choys with a few spots on it. Just know that they're still safe. They're still really just as good. They just don't maybe look as perfect as you might expect. So, but we still don't want it to go to waste. So we want to make sure we put it in your share, and so you have it to use. So, yeah, so a lot of great things coming up. We're really excited, and I hope you are too. And we'll talk to you next time from Tingletown Gardens Farm, Farmer Dean.